Well, everyone, hi. Been a minute since we had an emergency video. I'm literally just got back from Oklahoma City Thunder Parade, as you can probably tell by my sunburnt face and the champions. Indiana fans, I'm so sorry. This is a horrible video for you. DeWanna Bonner is not coming back, according to Andy Costabile in Front Office Sports. Let's get into it. Let's talk about what we are looking at here. First off, not returning to play. I mean, that's the biggest thing here. Not returning to play for the Indiana Fever. Not great, right? Preferred landing spots are with the Phoenix Mercury or the Atlanta Dream. We'll talk about that, but we got to talk about the Indiana factor of this all first, because, and rightfully so, DeWanna Bonner was one of the most exciting free agency pickups in the entire offseason when it comes to what it felt like Indiana needed next to Caitlin Clark, when it felt like what they needed next to Aliyah Boston. DeWanna Bonner fit that perfectly. A big that's willing to defend, a big that can stretch the floor, a big that can run the floor. DeWanna Bonner was everything that you wanted and more. And then you add in the fact that she is coming from Connecticut alongside this coaching staff. So in terms of, you have a vet that's won it before, you have a veteran player that has been in this system before, or at least at minimum with this coaching staff before. Everything about this seemed perfect. And yet here we are. She's been listed as out with personal reasons for the, I mean, I don't even know how many games. It's been a cool amount of games now at this point. Listed as out with personal reasons, and nobody had any idea what that meant, right? To a point, we have our answer, but I'm still a bit confused because, again, this is the same coaching staff that you just were with. So I'm interested in what the breakdown here relationship wise has been. If we do continue on throughout this article, you'll see here again come on now. Multiple sources told Front Office Sports that the fit in Indiana was, quote, off from the beginning. Bonner, who was signed to be an anchor with championship experience for the team's young core, was expected to be a starter. Well, fair enough. I think that was the expectation. Absolutely. Like I guess where I go from there is, again, like, you came off the bench a couple times in Connecticut. It never seemed, at least publicly, to be any level of issue. So again, like, not to say that DeWanna Bonner is like not justified potentially, like that I'm not choosing any side in this. I am just genuinely curious. How do we get from the seemingly ton of excitement in having you join this team alongside your coach coming over as well, and to now this point? Like, I would, like, it feels like a very odd A to B. Like, it feels like wherever we're at now is like point H, and we don't got anything in between A and H right now. I'm just simply confused. But in terms of now, what comes next, right? So far this season, 7.1 points, 3.8 rebounds, 1.6 assists in the 9 games played. Solid. I mean, again, like, you weren't ever expecting her to. The whole point to me was the idea that she can come and not have to score a ton and everything. Like it's encouraged. Fantastic, right? But if you're an Indiana Fever fan, like, that's not exactly what you are desperately needing. You got plenty of scoring with Kelsey Mitchell, with Caitlin Clark, with Aliyah Boston. Like, that's really not your worry. It's the other things that DeWanna Bonner is so incredibly great at that you were kind of hoping for. And just even more so, just the threat of her being on the court offensively was enough. So I'm not even, like, really worried about the stats in that sense of, like, oh, was this some type of bad performance? Like, I never really felt like that. Like, could she have been better? Absolutely. But ultimately, I never felt like awful about what DeWanna Bonner was producing on the court by any means. So now what? Right now, what comes next within all this? Because if you're a longtime WNBA fan, that you know this. If not, I'm here to tell you, trades don't really happen in the WNBA. Like, they just don't. Whether it be issues with the hard cap, with different salaries, with roster spots. There's just so many more obstacles in comparison to the NBA to make a trade happen, especially with big time players. Like they just simply don't really occur unless a player is fully forcing themselves out, right? And technically this is kind of that situation, but again, you're looking at a player that you're just it's going to be so hard to trade because no teams have cap space really at all at this point. It kind of has to be, generally speaking, it's almost is always an off-season trade, right? So what is the most likely scenario now according to Front Office Sports? Waiving her, because DeWanna Bonner is on an unprotected contract. So Indiana would get that cap space back, but at this point, who are you going to go get that is worthwhile for that cap space that can go and fit? Again, it helps that you have Natasha Howard also on this roster, but you were hoping that DeWanna Bonner would be your option number one when it comes to playing that four. And it was kind of weird because like having them both on the court at the same time, it never felt like super seamless, but also again not terrible to me by any means. So now you are pretty much forced to waive her and not get anything in return for DeWanna Bonner. This is a player that was supposed to come and what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe legitimize the contender status in a way where it's like you have your player that's done that before, which I've grown to learn is very important. I mean, this is just not how I expected this to go. So now, if you continue on, let's just keep pushing on with the waiving aspect here, right? You now are looking at 48 hours for teams to claim her off waivers, which now and then it gets into a whole other thing. Like, is she not gonna? If a team claims her, because there's plenty of teams that would love to have DeWanna Bonner on their roster. I promise you, I can think of several right now. Like, I mean, I think there's probably more teams that want her than don't, right? So is she just not gonna? Because if she's not gonna show up, like is that the proposition here, right? So okay, let's say she clears waivers. The vet minimum right now is $78,831, which means the Phoenix Mercury could sign DeWanna Bonner, reunite with Alyssa Thomas, her partner, and not have to cut a single person. Not have to cut a single player because of just how the way that this Phoenix roster is all made up right now of rookie players, of cheap players. They would be able to add DeWanna Bonner to this already overachieving roster and allow her to play a part of the system that I think she would fit really, really well in. Really, really well. And I don't know. I didn't know in the offseason if that would have really been a needle mover for her to come and join in on whatever Phoenix is building. But now that we've seen it in action and we've seen these players that have kind of come out of nowhere perform so well for Phoenix, that would be major for Phoenix. Like that has the chance to. I don't want to go too far. I'm not going too far because I still think that New York and Minnesota are still at the top of the top. But just in terms of closing that gap and where you already are and you're still building, goodness gracious. I mean, there's not much not to like. I mean, you want to talk about low risk, high reward. That is about as good of a deal you're going to get. And for Atlanta, they really don't have cap space. So like it would have to get a little bit more tricky in that way. Her in that system is interesting as well. I do just think that generally speaking, the Atlanta Dream you have a lot of bigs and you got a lot of wings. So fitting DeWanna Bonner in there is just a little bit tougher than Phoenix. But I mean, the biggest takeaway here is one, what the hell happened to get us to this point? Like it's not just an A to B situation here by any means. And also, the Indiana Fever are going to have to shift now because DeWanna Bonner was, as stated here, the plan was to be a cornerstone veteran piece to winning a WNBA championship. And now the Indiana Fever are not going to have her. Unless something miraculously changes from this report, the Indiana Fever and DeWanna Bonner will be breaking up and no longer on the team. Let me know what you think. I mean, what do you think about her fit in Phoenix? What do you think comes next for Indiana with this? I mean, you can certainly go get an Ari McDonald. Hello. But that's not really fitting your need here. So it'd be interesting to see if they try and just refill the need. You have some players on the roster, like Timpson potentially trying to step up into a larger role, but you're going to be very hard pressed to one-to-one replace what DeWanna Bonner had the potential of bringing to this Indiana Fever roster. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'm so intrigued by this entire situation, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. We're going to be talking about this more on Ball Up Top as well, a weekly basketball podcast here from No Cap Space, NoCapSpaceWB.com for all of our print and podcast content. All the links down below in the description. Stay tapped in here. Let me know down below what you're feeling. Stay tapped in for our further, deeper conversation on Ball Up Top, and I'll see you there.